to a Sammy Hagar classic. Boy, I heard this on the radio the other day and it just got me going, and of course I sat down and learned it and wrote it out, and here we are. So honestly, it's funny, you think something's going to be pretty easy and you get into it and you find, wow, there are some little things in here that make it a little bit more difficult. You'll probably need two guitars. You can get away with one. I'm going to show you some tricks like I did in the intro with playing an A different way to get that little sound during the chorus. But we'll go over the nuances. I've really enjoyed learning this and practicing it up, which means playing with it over and over. So we'll get into the lesson. I'll have my notes linked below to help you. I've put the options in there and some of the fills. I actually figured out a fill he's doing in this song that I haven't seen anywhere other than when Sammy played this with Daryl from Hall & Oates. They did, I don't know if it was Daryl's House Live or anyhow, there's a video of Sammy and Daryl and some other guitars playing this, and this one guitar does these notes, and it verified what I was thinking, although that version, if you try to play with it, is tuned down a half step. Alright, so again, notes below the video link, and we'll get into the lesson. Okay, so let's get into the lesson. We're going to do a D over A. I'm not going to get into the intricacies. We'll just call this a D over A. We'll do that twice into an A. Okay, so we're on the 4th fret, 4th string. We're barring across the 2nd fret, which we'll catch with the 3rd string. On the 2nd string will be on the 3rd fret, and the 1st string will be caught by the bar on the 2nd fret. And we'll play the A. We'll go down, up, and then you want to come back up with the A. So it's a 1 and kind of a 2 count. Alright, next chord's pretty simple. We're going to go A to G, but we're not going to do the 6th and 5th string. Alright, so just kind of come up from the 1st string and 2nd string, 3rd fret, playing that kind of a G. You'll up strum up to about the 4th string. When you come back, we're going to do G twice to D, and we'll hit the whole chord minus the 5th string, so more of a power chord. So put your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string and kind of let that hit the 5th string so it's muted. Alright, we have this so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, next we're going to hit this D 3 times. It'll be down twice. Again, then we're going to kind of mute the A string, mute the strings, whatever you strike, but primarily the 5th string, and then go into an A. So it'll sound like this. Okay, again. Alright, do that one more time, because this whole thing repeats one more time for the verse. So exactly as it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again you'll repeat that measure. And then we're into the chorus. I'm going to play the chorus straight. None of the little fills or things like that. I'll show you that after we go through it. We're going to go through the first measure, which starts out, strangely enough, we're going to hit the 6th string open twice. And then we go into our D to A. Then again, slight pause, and then we're going to do D to A twice. to G, and then G will be hit again, and then twice more quickly. Let's touch on this. So we've got our E twice, D to A. Easy enough. Okay, you'll hear the second guitar playing an A root fourth. Okay, so we got A on the 6th string, A on the 4th string. So we'll be on the 4th string 7, 3rd string 9, and 10 on the 2nd string. So he'll be hitting this the first time through, and then you'll hear it twice. Alright, so we can kind of emulate that if you got one guitar. The first time through, when he hits the D to A, it's right to that chord. Okay, so it's a... and you hear that chord the same time he hits the A, and you're hearing it slide down. So if you want to emulate this, again, the first time we'll hit our E, D, and play an A from the 3rd fret of the 3rd string 2nd fret, and cover the 1st and 2nd string at 5. Slide that down from there. So you can do this as one guitar. You can jump up to the 7 and 9. A little more difficult. I'm just giving you some options. So then we're going to come back with our D to A, and then you'll hear this twice. So you hit it once, and then the second time slide down slightly. Okay. Again, if you want to jump up here, it's really your option. I wrote it out with the optional, just like I showed you for one guitar, because it's just easier than thinking about where you got to jump to and jumping. I'm not a big fan of jumping around. All right, so come back with our D to A twice, to G, and G again, and then G twice. Then we go back around with our D to A, and again the A slid, the optional. And then we'll do the D to A twice. The second measure, we're going to a D. And this is where I hear the fill. And we're going to talk about the fill next and how to finish out this measure if you're not doing the fill. Let's talk about the first guitar. Just get through that. So we have our D to A. Again, you can do the optional. I'm not going to do it here. Okay, now D to A again with the 2 and the slide down. Then you do your D to A twice, and then we're going to D. This is the second measure. And then you'll hear this. Alright, so what he's doing there is G, 1 and, D, 2 and then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 on the G, so just 3 and 3 on the 1st and 2nd string fret and 2nd, and D twice, and then we finish with a full D chord. Alright, so the fill I'm talking about will sound like this. This fill will come in right when we do the G 1 and A, 1 and count, and then the D 1 and count, and then come back with our G. Alright, so during that part, this is what it'll sound like, and I've slowed it down slightly. Alright, let me take it from the D to A twice and then come in with the D and show you what we're talking about. Okay, so it's coming back around because I have it repeating, but what I feel they're doing in that fill is playing a G chord. So if you imagine G on the root note of the 5th string to A or D chord. Okay, so A G chord would be played on the first string at 10 and the 12th fret of the second and third string. And they're just picking through 3, 2, 1, then the D triad, 3, 2, 1 on 11 to 10. So we have this. Come back to your G. Now we're going to do a dyad, or 2 notes. We're just going to play 12th fret 4 times, then come back to a D referenced on the second and third string, and then end on the third and fourth string. So we're referencing that triad. All right, so here's what I think it is. Okay, I'll play along and see if you think it's worth it or if I'm full of shit. Again, I swear I hear notes there. So I tried, breaking this out with this riff station. You can separate channels and things, and I really couldn't pull it out. But the more I played with it, believe me, I was driving the neighbors, I'm sure, nuts. So I've written this out as an optional, and again, if you have 2 guitars, it might be something you want to add. All right, let's finish out the rest of the song. Okay, when we come into verse 2, the only difference between the verses from now on, at the very first measure of the verse, there's only 1 strike on the D, then A, rather than 2 strikes on the D that we did in the beginning. So the intro is, but after we do the fall in love again, you'll just do something. Everything else is the same. It's just the rest of the verse. When you come in, there's only 1 D to A. We're going to go into the bridge next and talk about what they're doing there. Not very difficult, beautiful. I love the way he structured this song, and we'll talk about that next. Alright, so the bridge will sound like this. Alright, I'll stop there. So what he's doing is we're going to hit an A power chord with a total of 8 strikes on that 5th string open. Then we're going to do our D, 2 muted 5th strings, then our A and 2 muted 5ths. And then we're going to do a pull down on the 3rd fret of the 5th string to an A. The key to this is that A continues counting, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But you hear the chord ring out, so it's kind of tricky. Again, if you're playing this for 1 guitar like I did there, I let the chord ring out, and I tried muting just the 5th string. So you'll do that 4 times through. And then after that, he's going to go into this beautiful little pause, and it's just great power chords. A to G, and then D to A. And then what we're going to do is pull down on the 6th string at the 3rd fret and hit an A. Okay, so we'll have this. Alright, right, after that, there's one little section left of the bridge. Again, a little change up. We're going to go to a G for 8 counts, and then to a D, it'll be a quick 2, and then 2 again on D, but there'll be individual counts. So we'll have this. All right, so that G is 8 counts. You're into the third verse with the D to A just once again, and then your A to G will be twice on the A, continuing on with more of the triplet feel. Then you'll have the second chorus, and let's see, what else? We'll talk about the outro, and you'll have the whole song. Okay, the last chorus after the third verse, we're going to do it just like the choruses before, at least for the first measure. And this first measure will be the outro, okay, other than the E notes. But I'll talk about that in a second. So let's focus on the chorus, first measure. I like to do those for timing there because it just fits. Alright, so again, second chorus. Now we're into the second measure. Okay, so I went in from the second measure to the outro. So the second measure, we got our D to A, and then D to A again. Of course, the fills I like to do for timing, and then our D to A twice. I'm sorry. Then D. Now we'll do G, 1, 2, 3, and then to D twice, which is a shortened version of that second measure of the chorus, but it gives us the entrance into the outro, which is D to A, and then the little fill for timing, D to A twice, and G 4 times basically. The last 2 are just kind of quick. And it just goes round and round. Alright, so those are some options. Those are the notes I think he's playing in this. I really hope you guys enjoy this. It's a fun song to play. Just learn the basics and jam along with it. If you're like me, you just really enjoy playing with a good song, and Sammy always satisfies. Just like Billy Squier is, at least to me. So I hope that helps everybody. Hell, I was even working on I Don't Need Love by Sammy. So that might be a future lesson, but take care, stay safe.